But again, we're glad to have you here join through this session. A lot that we've prepared for you to be able to learn. If you've joined through some of our previous sessions, you'll agree with me that our sessions are very practical because we usually speak from our point of experience. We don't just want to share with you things that are theoretical, but things that we've experienced ourselves, tools that we've been able to use, and things that we've been able to do and have been able to change our lives. And of course, we are not experts in this field. We know that there are quite a number of people who have done great things through leveraging on making sure that they're taking action on their goals. So we always call on to for people to share their thoughts, to ask questions, to make additions, and for you to be able to learn. Sometimes learning is through sharing what you already know. So that is what we want to be able to do. So today we want to look at from dreaming to doing. And our key goal is to understand how do we act on our goals and stay consistent. So at a time like this, which is already 24th of January, if you're watching this as it is happening, you already have some goals that you've already put into place. And if you don't have any goals, it's an encouragement for you to sit down and see how can I be able to set those goals. Now, for some people, I usually say some people, they set their goals on their birthday. And for you, it might be that but maybe you set yours on your last birthday. But I know that each one of us have certain goals that is we have in place. So that is something that we want to just see. Want to see how we can be able to, have goals. Now, why goals are important is because goals give you direction. If you want to go to, I usually use a location kind of based goal setting. If you want to go to any kind of place, you would want to have some goals in place because you want to get there. And for me, even when it comes to either career or business, one of the key things that have been able to help me in my life is having goals. And I'll tell you that when I join an organization, I know exactly what I'm interested in that organization by the end of my time there. I don't just want to wait for the wind to just find me the way and give me direction. I usually want to have some goals. And of course, some people may argue and say you can have your goals, but things might go otherwise. But I want to believe that things even go far otherwise if you do not have kind of direction. So goals give you direction. So one of the things, and I want to share from the perspective of my career. So this year, which is 2025, I have certain goals that I've put in place of how I want the year to basically to end. The same thing also happens for last year. So there are quite a number of things that happened in my career. For those that may follow me, you may realize that I was promoted to manager last year at my organization where I work. I was also awarded one of the best employees. So that did not just come out of the blue. I want to say that at the start of the year, those were some of my goals. One, I wanted to grow in my career, and I knew that that position was ahead of me. So I wanted to grow to that position. I also wanted to be excellent at my work. So I foresaw myself to be rewarded. So even when those either promotion came through or an award came through, they came through at a time when I somehow expected that they should be coming through. So yours is as well. Right now, you should have an idea of how you want the year to end for you, or how you want to the 5 years to look like. And I want to tell you that just as you have those aspirations, sometimes it's also good for you to get down to understand what will actually get me to achieving those goals. We have those kind of desires where you want to find a job, you want to grow that business, but most of the times we are afraid to go by the process. One of the things that I've come to appreciate in life is for whatever you want to achieve in life, there is a process. There are principles that you have to follow. And if you follow those principles, somehow you'll actually achieve what you want to achieve. That is something I've been able to really understand. And I know that there are other factors that come into play, but one of the things that also even happens, especially when it comes to goal setting for me, um, it is not, I'll give you an example. If it's about, let's say, a job, I don't say that my goal this year is, let's say, to find a job. I'll say my goal this year is to send out this number of applications, because it is the process that is going to give me the win that I'm looking for. If your aspiration is to get promoted, yours could be, say, and what does it take me to be promoted? What takes me from being promoted could be advancement of my education, could be delivering more at my workplace than I have been delivering. My action could actually be around having a conversation with my boss, because I'm telling them, look at this, I'm ready for growth. I'm ready for the next position. So the other could be, say, I'm now going to be a bit more visible in the organization. I'm going to be able to show up. I'm going to look to think strategically, even in a way that I provide guidance to my employer, who come through strategically. So those actions are the ones that I now look at as what are my priorities for the year. So I'll tell you that even when I do not achieve the promotion, if I've done all those things, I've won, because the reason why I may not have gotten that promotion is because of other factors that could be out of my control. But somehow I have things that I can count. Like, say, I finished my professional course. I was able to progress when it comes to how I show up at work, visible. I'm more visible at work. All those things come into play. So even when you do not achieve the final win, you've actually grown and you've been able to achieve. So that is one thing that for me has helped me. And even if it's finances as well, your goal, you might want to save an amount of money, but it all starts from the process. How you saying, I'm going to commit maybe this amount of money every month to be able to achieve this kind of goal. So your focus should mainly be on these processes. Where are you able to meet them at the end of the day? So that is your action. The actions you're going to take on also influence even how you're going to be able to move from dreaming to doing. Now, I usually like taking baby steps. And even as we get into the session, one of the things that I really appreciate is that there are certain things that you want to achieve, but you can't wait to see the entire staircase. I know for most of us at this point in time, either you're waiting for that business opportunity that is going to change your life. You're waiting for that job that is going to pay you an amount of money. Sometimes I just embrace starting small. If your goal is to grow your public speaking skills this year, you could start with small audiences, speak to them and see what exactly can I be able to do with this audience. And you develop your craft slowly by slowly. Sometimes waiting for that best moment may never happen to come. So start with the small steps and say, my dream is to start a side business this year. Look around and see, is it my passion? Is it a skill that I have? Is it a need in the community where I am? Either it's my fellow employees that may be interested in this product. Start with one single product. Buy it, take a picture, share it on your WhatsApp status, and see what people react around it. And that will give you feedback to keep on refining, to keep on refining, to keep on refining. By the end of the year, or let's say mid-year, you've already made great progress. Instead of you waiting to say, let me wait to have enough capital to get started. Sometimes even what you want to get started on is irrelevant or will not work out. So it's important for you to know that if I want to go to this place, I need to be able to start on the journey. Starting is very important. And believe me not, if today this is January, next month we are getting into February, and within a small time we'll be ending quarter 1. And once we've ended quarter 1, you get into quarter 2, and you're now starting to get on pressure because you realize you've not been able to get where you need to be. Sometimes what is even going to set you apart in terms of acting on your goals is commitment. It's picking that amount of money and say that, okay, my interest was to have a unit trust that is running such that I'm able to save money. So let me commit and go and sign up. So you've not yet gotten the money, but you're saying, I'm going to do the sign up. And you even commit yourself and say, I'm going to do my first direct debit from starting February. And that alone, already your mind is switched because you've already committed. You've put in yourself into that aspect to know that, okay, this, I need to make sure that I do it. So when it comes to getting ahead, sometimes you just have to make a decision and say, I'm going to start now. I'm going to open that Facebook page and start posting about my business. I'm going to reach out. I'll give you an example. Recently, I reached out to a certain television that does run certain kind of programs, which I'm interested in. So I want to appear on that show. So I reached out to them, and within a small time, within about 2 days, somebody reached out to me and was actually positive about my idea that I could actually be able to show up there. So sometimes your actions are going to be to reach out. One of the things that I've come to appreciate is that sometimes you do not wait for the opportunity to find you. You have to reach out. If you want to be promoted this year, this is an opportunity for you to even sit down with your boss and say, my interest is to grow in my career. I've been in this role for the last 3 or 4 years. I want to make sure that by the end of this year, I'm actually at a different stage in my career. And you ask your boss, I would be interested to hear from you if there's any kind of feedback that you think would help me in improving this year. And you're also able to tell them what you're planning to be able to do about it. Believe me not, when you have made that commitment, sometimes you get yourself in circumstances where your boss now understands your aspiration. By the time we get to September, their selves already, they are ready for you to be able to elevate you to the next level. So it all encompasses quite a number of things for you to be able to know that, okay, what is going to take me ahead is not the whole aspect of saying, I'll do this, I'll do this. Sometimes it's even, I've seen people to share, I think it might have been, I think Rosette who shared about the saving challenge. So sometimes it's just about sharing and say, I'm actually going to participate in this saving challenge. Sorry, for certain kind of people, they say, if I don't want to mention it because I've not yet started it. But some of us, sometimes when we communicate these things, it helps us to be able to get started on some of the things. I'll give you an example. We have now the Transformation Professionals Club. We have quite a number of members. I think we about over 370 on our general WhatsApp group, and our principal membership is now about over 20 people. Now, if I did not start this club, means that many people wouldn't have benefited from these kind of webinars, or may not have benefited from the support that we are providing through this whole process. So when you're not working on your dream, when you're not working on your goal, there are many people who are beneficiaries to that are not benefiting. And at the end of the day, there are people who go and start the same ideas like the ones you're starting. And at the end of the day, you will continue to remain behind. When some people now see where we've moved the journey as TPC, they are amazed. They think this is something that has been around for a long period of time. But it's just because we took the decision to say, this is something that is needed in the market. We need to have professionals together, irrespective of their professions. We need to be able to together and have conversations and be able to go through certain kind of things. And we did not just start from, we didn't start even from Zoom here. We started from LinkedIn, doing LinkedIn live sessions. I remember, I think last year, Diana was one of our second speakers who joined me through that session. And continuously, we've been able to grow now. We're at another level than where we were. But because we decided to start small from what we are. And of course, one of the things is that the reason sometimes we are stuck onto what we should be doing is because we do not know how to do it. And sometimes it's about understanding that, okay, I'm going to look for mentors. I'm going to look for somebody who can be able to help me. I'm going to look for a coach who can be able to refine me, because some of the things we've already done them in previously and they have not given us the results. So we are not even motivated to actually do them. And sometimes it may be even about self-doubt that you could actually be struggling with. And even as we get into the session, my guest, Diana Muhairwe, is very, very qualified to be able to speak about that aspect. And for us, I think one of the modules that we have at TPC is the personal leadership. When you sign up for membership, one of the modules that we prepared for our members is the personal leadership. Why? Because you can't achieve much in life if you fail to lead yourself. Now, leading yourself means that you understand who you are, you understand your strengths, you understand your weaknesses, and you're not just letting your weaknesses to take charge, but you even know that despite having those weaknesses, I'm working on myself every day. I'm seeking out for people who can help me. I'm seeking out for resources that can develop me. Basically, you're taking charge of your life, not just look at things the way they are and start thinking about where you come from and start giving excuses of how you're not as eloquent as other people. I'll tell you that sometimes it's just about having that self-belief. When you start to believe in yourself, even when it comes to going for opportunities, you have that confidence. One time I was in an organization where they advertised the position. Now, I knew that for me to be shortlisted for this position, I needed to be at another level. So I'll give you an example. So I was an accountant in the organization, but we also had senior accountants in the organization. And then the position that they were advertising was a finance manager position. Now, for you to become a finance manager, you needed to have been a senior accountant. So I was just an accountant, but I knew self-belief that I had what it takes. So one, I had finished my professional qualification. Two, I had also done quite some years of experience. The only limitation I had is because I accountant. Now, somehow, as God may make his thing, so after that applied, some time passed, then somehow I appear on the shortlist. I was like, oh, surprisingly, I'm on the shortlist. Now, they shortlist me, I get into the room. Now, I knew there was somebody, sometimes there's even that person you already know that this one, I can't compete with them. This position is just for them. And that was the kind of scenario. So I get into the interview room. And as I'm there, I'm interviewed, everything is going on well. So the leader asks me and says, by the way, we advertised for the finance manager role for this location, but we have another opportunity, same role, still finance manager, but in a different location. Would you be willing to work in that location? And here I am. Whatever they advertised, I knew there was somebody who was supposed to take on that role based on how the organization was structured. But somehow I was getting information that I could not have gotten until I had applied for the role. So, of course, I definitely said yes, and the opportunity came. And in the organization, I became the first person to be promoted from accountant to finance manager. And that came because I believed in myself. What am I saying? I'm saying that there are positions that you'll see, and from day one, you already discourage yourself that you are not fit for them because you feel you're not. Either it's organizations and you're like, can those people recruit me? And there's also this kind of mindset within people that some positions are already built up for other people, which is not really good. So it's very important for you to know that self-belief is going to open doors for you. And that's why, as part of our programs as TPC, we want to develop the confidence in you to be able to speak up. When we had the last session here, I think it's my friend Charity. When I reached out to Charity, because one of the key aspects is I want to make sure that I'm developing the people that are part of TPC. So when I reached out to Charity, I asked her, can you moderate the session that we are going to have? So Charity was like, okay, I can moderate the session. So she did a great job moderating the last session we had, and those that attended it really benefited. If you missed, you could be able to catch the recording. But it all came because of the self-belief. The same thing also happened as well to my friend Solomon. Solomon is very good on the area of soft skills. And I met him at when I had gone to facilitate a training at NSSF. He works with NSSF, so I met him there, and he just got interested to be able to get into some of my coaching programs. So, and you see, he could look somebody who is older than me, but in the same way, he did not think about that because he knew there was more that you could benefit from the relationship. So sometimes your taking action could even be to kill that ego that you have within you and say, I'm going to show up. Sometimes it's just about saying, how will people see me? Am I really worthy it? But it's just about understanding and saying, if others can do it, I can do it. If others have been able to achieve it, I can achieve it. If others have been able to get into such organizations, I can join it. Do not just wait for you to see people celebrate, for the people to update their LinkedIn's, and you're like, that job, I saw it. I actually ignored it. Sometimes you just need to take action on some of those things. When you see a job advert, do not delay, take action. When you have an idea, do not wait to have capital. Sometimes the ideas are started with just zero capital. In this age of technology, it's just zero capital. It's just a WhatsApp away. Ideas start from just a link, a post, and you're growing a kind of traction of people that are willing to buy from you, and you're earning. So it's what I wanted to just share, even as we're settling in more people. And I know that it's already 30 minutes past 7. So I want to welcome you once again, those that have just joined in and those that are joining us via YouTube. It's always a pleasure to have each one of you join through these sessions. I have our guest speaker, Coach Diana Muhairwe, and I want to introduce her so that we can be able to get into the depth of this conversation. Coach Diana, you could switch on your camera and also switch on your microphone for us to have this interaction. Okay. Okay, as Coach Diana comes through, I want again to say that the Transformation Professionals Club is a community of professionals, and our goal is to empower each other beyond just our jobs. We want to make sure that we are professionals plus professionals that are not just dependent on where we are employed, but professionals that are building their professional independence to know that in all circumstances, either I have a job or I don't have a job, I can survive. Either I have that job, I have all it takes within me to be able to elevate myself, that I'm seen in terms of visibility, to understand that I have the confidence to go for what I should be doing, and also to be able to pursue the things. Basically, we just want to make sure that your life is not just about one thing. Your life is not just about limitations, but your life is about progress. So we empower our people in different areas of personal finance to make sure that your finances are in. And I said, when it comes to personal leadership, we want you to have the confidence to be able to be aware of yourself, to be able to tap into your purpose, your greater purpose, why you were created, to be able to elevate yourself in your passion. What are you passionate about? To also have that kind of confidence to know that, okay, I'm an important person and this is what I need to be doing. This is my life. Basically taking charge of your life, knowing that within the 5-10 years, this is what I should be doing. And then, of course, public speaking also comes in very key. And that is why even we had our last speakers and moderators share. Both of them are TPC members, TPC principal members. So it was an opportunity for them to be able to elevate their public speaking skills as well. And then we also want to make sure that your personal brands are also elevated. In this era and age of artificial intelligence, where you can just have that CV done by AI, we want to make sure that our professionals that are part of TPC are not just those professionals that are blindly there, but professionals that can be seen. Visibility online, visibility everywhere, either it's offline. So personal branding also comes in as part of what we do. So you're most welcome, Diana. I can now see you on camera. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those that may not know Diana, I know I've hosted Diana before on, she was part of our launch. She also, last year, as I was sharing how we started the TPC community, Diana also came through as one of our guests, speaking about aspects of leadership. But I'll just say a few things and then Diana will be able to give us even a more elaborative kind of who she is. So from what I see, Diana is a coach and she's also a trainer. She's a John Maxwell certified coach. If you're in that era of professional personal development, you should be knowing who John Maxwell is. So he's one of the certified coach under that umbrella. She runs Blue Hen Solutions Limited as the CEO, speaker, and trainer. And what I know about her is she's a former teacher. So she also does counseling, especially for people that are getting into marriage. And she also taught physics and mathematics, some of my favorite subjects as somebody who did PEM at high school. So Coach Diana is also married. So Coach Diana, you're most welcome to this webinar, and I just want to welcome you to just give us insights into today's topic as we get to learn from you. You're most welcome.
Okay, thank you, Coach Samuel. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me enough, if I need to adjust my audio. Good evening, members. Right. Okay, Samuel, I still see your screen. Is it okay if you... Right, thank you, Joyce. Thank you. Good evening. I'm excited to be here. Happy New Year to each one of you, those that I haven't met. I believe I haven't met majority of you. I will start with this disclaimer or warning. I have had a coarse voice due to a throat infection. So just in case my voice isn't the best or feminine as you expect it to sound, just know it's because of the infection. Okay, thank you, Samuel, for that introduction. I'm a mother of 3, and our company is Bloon, not Blue Hen. It's a German word that stands for flourishing. We believe in flourishing wherever we are. We believe in being our very best or presenting our very best wherever we are at in the very little things we are involved in. That's it, really. I am both a former teacher and still a present teacher because I just changed the subjects that I was teaching. So I am a proud teacher. I love to teach. I love to empower people, and that's the life that I lead. So welcome to today's session where we are going to move from dreaming to doing. A powerful, powerful topic. Thank you, Coach Samuel, and the whole TPC community for putting up this. Just so you know, is that today we're going to have a more interactive session. So I request us to utilize the charts. I hope you have some pens and papers where you are going to be, we are literally going to move a journey, and I'll also share a bit of insights from my personal life, and hopefully you will pick one or two things that will help you in 2025 to rock 2025. Yes, that sounds like a teacher, right? Okay, so I want us to start off in this way. Think of one goal that you have been dreaming about for years, but have not yet achieved. Just think of that one goal. You haven't achieved it, you haven't acted on it. Samuel started us off in an excellent way. He actually gave you, the summary of our topic, really. And Samuel, thank you. That was a good ground for me to land. So write down that one goal. Write down that one goal. And ask yourself, why have I not started? Okay. So I hope we have thought about that one goal we have had in our minds, that one dream that we have had in our minds for some time and have not acted on. So as we go through the session, I want you to keep that goal in mind. And maybe you have written down why you haven't started. And if you have no problem with sharing with us, maybe some of you can write in the chat that one goal. If I could have like 2 members write in the chat that one goal you haven't acted on for years. So let's look at, let's go through the journey of that dream that we have had for years, that aching dream. And let's look at a strategy on how to stay consistent, like Samuel was telling us, how to make it a daily routine, to act on that routine, and eventually we will celebrate each other. Thank you, Rita, for being very, very vulnerable and sharing with us. Yes. Okay, so the next question is, why have you not acted on that, Rita, since you have voluntarily shared with us? Okay. Now, when you talk about dreams, the world of dreaming is unlimited. The world of imagination can be unlimited, but the world of doing is limited. So we can have zillions and zillions of dreams, but we cannot act on zillions of things. And the biggest and the greatest limitation to a world of dreaming is our self-belief. Self-belief. It acts as a ceiling to our dreams, to our excellence, to perform anything. Just know, if this is your self-belief, this is going to be how far you can go. You cannot excel this ceiling. That's leadership. That's personal leadership. Your growth can only go as far as your self-belief is. So that's another point I want us to keep at the back of our minds as we go through this. I appreciate each one of you that is sharing. Charity, thank you for sharing with us in the chat. Hey. Now, when we talk about self-belief, when we talk about doing, I would like to share a little bit about, my story. I have had several interesting occurrences in my life, and I love to drive, especially drive fast. But one of the places I don't love driving in is through the traffic jam. In fact, I doze off. Sometimes, I used to doze off, but these days I discovered that that's my best time for study, for working on my self-development. So, but when we look at, driving, if I get back to that time when I would doze off, I would find myself trapped in the traffic jam, very frustrated and trying to figure out shortcuts. And trust me, I would try to get into the shortcuts. And guess what? If you have driven on Kampala streets, you know what happens in the shortcuts. Most of the times, the shortcuts are narrow. If you get one car stuck, it means you have nowhere to turn from, like you are totally stuck. And it's not just about the traffic or Kampala jam. That's the same thing when it comes to our lives. Same scenario. Now, one time I wanted to go to the village. I am born in Kanungu. It's one of the farthest districts in Uganda. And at that time, we had, I think we had just one bus. And so I remember I was at university, and that one bus left me. When that bus left me, I could see it. I could see it in, within a short distance. So I told myself, you know what, Dee? Just get on a border and run after the bus. Do I have people who have acted like that? I just want to be sure that I have people who have chased after a bus previously. Definitely, you can't chase after an aeroplane,
Then I've had a similar experience where I was working in Karamoja and we had only one bus. So when it leaves you, you know that the journey is over. So I chased one using a border, failed, later got returned track. So I can tell the experience.
Thank you, Samuel. Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. I see you have also chased after a bus. Now, for me, I have chased after a bus several times, given where, I think Kanungu is one of the Karamojas of the West, and but now it's definitely much better. Go to the video. But this particular one experience was an experience that stayed. It stayed. And this is why it stayed. When I was chasing after that bus on a border, I told the border man that this is the only bus that goes to my village. It was a weekend. I had an exam on Monday. I just needed to go, sort whatever I needed to sort. So the borderman was so focused onto getting the bus. And it was actually just about, 5 feet when we got an accident. So he was too focused. He never, got to plan, I think, for any occurrences or, whatever's. And he did not, maybe never crossed his mind that maybe a car or a pedestrian or a cow, could cross at the moment. So this particular moment, a cow, no, not a cow, a car, it was a red double cabin. It came and tried to cross the road to the other side. And the last thing I remember was trying to see the red double cabin crossing. I woke up under a pile of watermelons, my friends. Feel free to laugh because I find it so funny. I woke up, it was darkness, and in my mind I was like, is this the hell they always talk about? It was so dark, I couldn't lift a hand. But thank God I was not hurt. I wasn't hurt at all. And now people were checking. I could hear voices. Is she alive? Is she alive? I was under a pack of watermelons. And that was just about, a few feet from the bus. And I was not hurt. The bus had left me. After stabilizing a little bit, guess what? I jumped onto another border, went back to campus, and decided to go with a night bus. Now that journey is probably one of the journeys that maybe one or two of you is living or has lived. Yeah? That journey can describe what we are probably presently going through. We have had these dreams, and that dream is not coming through, and we decide to take shortcuts only to find ourselves under a pile of watermelons. And the reaction could be different. You can dust yourself off and try to get another border, get on another bus, It can cause death. I could have died. It could have left me with a life impairment. It's a number of things could have happened. No. So that's been part of my journey. But I learned a very big lesson in that situation. Out of our dreams, we can have huge dreams. And maybe you are on a journey and you begin observing what others are going through. You may feel that, they are moving at a faster speed than you. And then we try to take shortcuts. Yeah. But also on this journey, we may never get to go through the challenges thoroughly. And when we do not go through the challenges thoroughly, we never ever get to plan and prepare for them. And what happens? You are too focused onto your dream. You end up being like my border guy and you crash. The other big lesson I learned from that event is that sometimes it's actually okay to step back, reassess, check if you have any broken bones, fix them, and get onto the journey again. It's never too late to chase that dream and move at your own pace. Because guess what? What matters here is progress and not perfection. Am I speaking to someone? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now let me get deeper. I love telling stories, and I have learned so much from people's stories. I'll give you another personal story. Most of us here are professionals. Thank you. I love that feedback. Thank you for that feedback. Thank you for that feedback. Most of us here are professionals. And maybe we are in the, you know, when Samuel told me about, this whole community of professionals, and I am grateful that I've been, in its initial stages, and we're sharing at some point, and we're looking at some of the things, that people that wanted to join TPC, one of their goals or their desires. And a few of us, or a few of you, were looking for career transition. Some were looking at finding fulfillment in what we're doing. Others wanted, so many things. But one of the things was, that stood out for me, because I really teach so much about purpose, and I'm living my purpose. No doubt about that. I am very passionate in that area. So one of the things that struck my one of the things that struck me was someone who wanted to really, really find a career that was in line with their purpose. Those are the people I'm always after. So I was at that point in my work, and I was at that point, and I never had any planning. I never had any planning. And also emotionally, I was going through quite a lot. So it was one day, guys, I woke up and I resigned. That resignation has, its pros and cons. But let me get to what I am trying to share with you. So after I resigned, I can tell you I had a notebook of goals. I had dreams. Just know I had been feeling this is not enough for me. I know I am made for more. There's too much I know that I can do, as all pumped. Like, now that I am finally free, I can go after my dreams. Guess what? When I reached at home, I was like, because at the time I was handling only candidate classes. I was only teaching senior 6 and senior 4 physics, math. I would leave school at 10. I'm there by 6, teaching. And I was like, you know what? I have been working. I am so tired. I feel drained. So I need to sleep a little bit. Let me take a rest. And maybe after like 3 days, I can get to think and go after. I had tried to put a few things in place, but, really vaguely. So the 3 days turned into a month. And I came to terms with it, and I'm like, just rest for a month. At that time, we had just one daughter, We had just gone through a loss of babies and parents on my side. And so I was also drained emotionally. And those were some of the excuses that came through strongly for me. And I'm like, you know what? You have also never gotten time to mourn your parents. You've never gotten time to mourn, your babies. Guys, this is 2 years I am talking about. After 2 years, I'm like, you've never gotten time now. And I want you to note the distraction. I have resigned to go and chase after my dreams. But I am now caught up in the emotional mixer of loss. Okay? And so I'm like, just take a rest, pray about it, clear emotionally, and you can do this. And I listened to that voice and rested. What I thought was going to take maximally a month lasted a year. Procrastination. Monday became Monday. It turned into a Monday. It turned into 2 months, 3 months, a year. Friends, a year is what I am talking about. And you know what I was doing? I would wake up, take our daughter to school, come back, pray, do a devotion, sleep. Sometimes I feel ashamed to talk about these things, but I've also come to appreciate that none of my experiences was for nothing. Probably one of you right here is going to be helped. Sleep. This is early morning, and I have slept throughout the night. You can imagine, I had enough sleep. Sleep, wake up an hour two to pick up time, fix, some simple lunch, and I go and pick our daughter. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a person who had a zillion dreams at resignation? And this is mid-year. I am in that kind of lifestyle. So one day I was doing those devotions, and I came across, a scripture in James 2:17 that says faith without works is dead. That particular devotion was a game changer for me. It was a life changer for me. And it challenged me to list the things I believed God would do for me. And my list was endless, of course. But I had two unrealistic, totally unrealistic, out of this world things I was believing God to do for me. And I want you to take a guess. Let's play a little game here. I want you to take a guess. Just feel free. Just take a guess and write for me something you think was so unrealistic that I was believing God to do for me in that season. Just give you a second as I sip my dawa to help my voice. Joyce, a job. You guys are funny, making me younger, getting a new job, someone to call you for a job, yet you had not applied for any. I keep going. Samuel, are you ready to take guess. Please take a guess. Please continue. And none of these, guys. Sorry to disappoint you. I love this. Take another guess, Emmanuel. No. Remigio, starting a business. Patricia, peace of mind. Guys, you're not yet close. I have you here. To buy a car that you didn't have at that time. Give birth to triplets. I love what is in the chat. Relocate to a new country. Miracle money. Okay. Purpose fulfillment. This is interesting. I wish I could go on. But let me tell you, I'll give you 40%, not to discourage you. But these are the two unrealistic dreams I had. On that list was that God could resurrect my parents and resurrect my dreams. See how far you were from the guess. Can you imagine such kind of a dream? It's so funny, too unrealistic. Resurrecting someone who has died after 2 years. That was not faith. I don't know what to call it. You people are more blessed with English. You can give me a better word. I don't know what that was. And it's not that it's because I was emotionally drained. No. Guys, we can be in our dreaming. Even when we say that imagination world is unlimited. Thank you, Emmanuel. Maybe that was a fantasy. Maybe that was a fantasy. Can you imagine? 2 years have elapsed. And this is one of the things you're glued to. Can you imagine that? So unrealistic. And I know at this time of the year, you've already set your goals. How I pray that none of them is on the extreme as mine. Because as we move from dreaming to doing, we want something that is going to take us. It is a journey, it's not a destination. It's more about the journey. It's more about who we are becoming in the process. So just imagine you have a dream like mine of resurrecting a dead person after 2 years. And for people of faith, please pardon me. It's not that I don't have faith, but it was just a fantasy, like Kobel just mentioned. So back to that, I want us to, let me take you back to that devotion. Now this devotion pushed me to reflect deeply. And it asked me the challenges that were ahead of me on the journey of achieving those goals. And I wrote them down. Then it went further and asked me to find top 3 of my goals. And that was, I want to say, emotionally, let me emotionally speak, that was my worst day. But logically speaking, that was my best day. Why? I can tell you I never got to the top 3 dreams or goals. I was so unsettled. I slept throughout the bed, turning. I never slept. I kept thinking about the top 3 goals that I wanted to achieve. And the next morning, I was too angry that I had to go back to the devotion. And this devotion made me realize, as I went through further questions, it made me realize that the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, and unresolved grief were holding me back. And at this point, we have dreams. Okay? Remember the first question I asked us. What is stopping you from achieving that one goal that you've been putting off? For me, for all those dreams that I had, even after zeroing down to the top 3, after really assessing, going deep, and those are things, that is self-discovery. That is a key and critical step in personal leadership. Very critical. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, and unresolved grief. Even if I prayed and fasted and looked for mentors and coaches and strategized and mention it, those 3 things, there were chains on my feet, there were chains in my neck, there were chains on my hands. So I want us to find out, and probably you can write down in your notebook, if you are free enough, please share with us in the chat. What are those chains that are holding you back from achieving your dreams? What are those things that are holding you back? Could be a belief. It could be, out of a situation that you have faced before. What are they? I have someone who is going through what I was going through, fear of the unknown. This is real. Remember, this is so real. Thank you for sharing with us. And Samuel, I know you have had such moments. Could you, if it is okay with you, could you also share with us some of those fears, or some of those, chains, let me call them chains, that could have held you back, maybe 1 or 2. I also see remedial, fear of rejection. Samuel, are you still around? Okay.
Yes, I'm here, Diana, and I'm reflecting here, and thanks so much for the session. I think what I would say is the fear of what do other people think about me. I think that was a fear that I had, especially when I was starting out on my public speaking, but also the personal branding. The fact that you've had a certain past of you, and you're now thinking like, when people see me, what would they think about me? I think that alone, I think stopped me. But also, there is also that aspect of thinking that other people are better than you or are better placed for certain things. And I think continuously, when we have that comparison of ourselves with others, you're like, this is something that this person can do better. So it gets you. I'll give you an example. I think I got an invitation to speak to on one of the televisions, and somehow I was not placed well to speak, to appear on that show. And there was that kind of fear that was in me, and somehow the opportunity actually got out of my hand. So along the way, somebody actually shared the imposter syndrome. So continuously, that imposter syndrome. There's a time I think I wrote a book up to the last page, go to the final stages, but sometimes I even published it and somehow I withdrew it from the market because I somehow felt that, oh, it is something that I felt that maybe I was not yet ready to get the book out. So that is something that I think myself have experienced. And even as you share, I think it's something that we continuously experience as people. We feel we are not worthy. But when we step out, I'll tell you that when I've stepped out to say, this is what I should be doing. Even when when we were starting the TPC community, I think it should be Rosette and Patricia. We opened that WhatsApp group in around July, and we had about 2 people for about 3 months. 2 people in that WhatsApp group. We're about, I think, 4 with myself and one of the other gentlemen called John that I work with. So we're in that WhatsApp group, but the kind of mindset was, are we ready? Can we really go for it? But somehow, I think we launched in December, but when we started out seriously, by the time we got to around November, the dream was up there. And I remember even we had the discussion when the first time I met Coach Diana. There were lots of those kind of fears, like when I start this, will it work out? So all that. So when we are starting out on our goals, there will always be that negative energy in our mind to tell us you can't do it, you can't do this, you're not worthy enough. What will people think about you? And at the end of the day, you get yourself held back. So until you step out of that fear, until you step out of that rejection, and you're like, no matter what comes may, at least I would have tried, at least I would have taken, because there is that comes with, I wish I did it. So for you to get off that, I wish I did it, being able to know that I'm stepping out to go up over that I think is impossible, that I think is not worthy it, to know that everything will fail, but I know that I would have tried. So I think that is my mantra, and I think it has really worked well at the end of the journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel, for that addition. Very real. I love dealing with reality. And I appreciate each one of you. I see Patricia added negative energy in the surrounding, low self-esteem, negative thoughts, imposter syndrome, fear of uncertainties, rejection, low self-esteem, discouragements, fear of what people will think. This is so real, my friends, so real. Very, very real. And no matter how good the dream is, when these are present, you can never go past them. And even in the paid, actually, this is one of the core sessions, maybe first or second, I don't remember, someone can correct me, that we are going to go deep into dealing with, because we must deal with this, but also, we also, in one of my masterminds, which is usually the 15 laws of growth, we deal with this a lot. So I will just tell you that you cannot go past this unless you deal with them. So sign up for the paid membership of TPC and deal with this. But for now, let's proceed. It's very important to mention, to name, to identify these chains. I call them chains. They are total chains. and then find a way of dealing with them. And the good news is that there is a solution. They have a solution. Each of these that you have mentioned has a solution. Someone has just given us a testimony of, in July, they have opened up. Yes, Kobel, there can also be barriers. I also see I overthink things. Yes. A good observation, it's just July. They have opened up a WhatsApp group and they are just immersed in fear. Immersed in fear. And you see, these fears, these barriers don't come alone. It's a trio. It's going to be excuses. It's going to be fears. It's going to be doubts. Those three go hand in hand. Where there is a fear, there's going to be an excuse, there's going to be a doubt. And this is what I discovered that time, that my excuses are my seducers. If we had time, we'd dive deep into the excuses, into the doubts that I have mentioned. We have sessions that really cover that. But that time, I discovered that my excuses are my seducers, my fears are my liars. Lie, the opposite of truth. My fears are my liars, and my doubts are thieves of my dreams. So the journey from dreaming to doing, these are some of the things. These are a must meet up. And they are checkpoints to see how committed you are to your dream, to see how resolved, how prepared you are to your dream. Very, very important. The doubts, the fears, the excuses. I've had, there's an excuse I noted, thinking that I have time. Okay. In some of the sessions when I'm, telling people about discovering your purpose, they're like, Coach D, we are still young. We don't need to hear that stuff. That's for all people who are about to die, thinking you have time. Okay. So for me, I had to identify the doubts that I had in my mind about the dreams that I had at the time. I also had to identify the excuses that I was giving. And one of which, by the way, I can tell you was I do not have enough money. Because right away, even from school, I had always dreamt of having a personal business. I'd always dreamt of being self-employed, So my greatest excuse in that area was I do not have, the dream is here, but I don't have the capital. I don't have the money to start. Okay. What is your excuse? We have already identified the fear. What is your excuse? Okay. So coming out of these fears, I needed to condition my mind. I needed to condition my mind to beat the fears, the excuses, and the doubts, because the power lies here. Your mind. Your mind. Your mind. So I needed to condition my mind. And I had to do lots and lots of self-talk on that journey from dreaming to doing. Okay, thank you, David, for that comment. Indeed, there's no time, for real, yet we keep on procrastinating to do the things we must do. There is no time. So I needed to condition my mind. That was that was full of the trio, the fears, the doubts, and the excuses, to enable it to be a power engine in my whole system. Of course, you know, with a bit of psychology, I understood that my mind had a lot to do with the life that I was leading. It had a lot to do with me achieving, you know, my dreams. And I did not know what I was doing at the moment. But it's until in the recent years that I discovered, you know, what it could be called. And John Maxwell calls it the do it now. Because, and that one was used, I used to mention it to myself in the self-talk. I used it, but I didn't know, because I used it to beat procrastination. Guys, I suffered with procrastination, and it's not yet totally dealt with. I have instances where I still struggle with it a little bit. There are things I have still been putting off, you know. So I am not speaking from a point of being perfect. No, not at all, you know. So this is practically what I would do. I'd go stand in the mirror. I had enough time to myself until I had written out real things that needed to deal with my mindset, you know, that I had to speak to myself, okay? And I had several one-on-one meetings with myself. I would, you know, get, you know, a chair, funny stuff. I would get a chair, sit on the table, and I put Diana the other side, and I put Muhairwe this other side, you know, break myself. And I'm questioning Diana, why are you not doing it? Why do you think this is not happening? And I had my notebook, and I was writing down. So that personal meeting. And through that self-talk, I was speaking to myself in the local language. But recently, I discovered Maxwell also went through almost a similar experience, and he called it the do it now strategy, where you wake up early in the morning, and, you know, maybe after you have maybe done your devotion, or simply before you do that, for those that do devotions, and he says to himself, do it now 50 times. You speak to yourself. It's total madness, I know. 50 times. Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. 50 times. And speaking out loud 50 times. And before he goes to bed, the last thing he wants his mind to remember is do it now. So after he has cleared up everything, he will say, do it now to himself 50 times. Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. If you have read The Power of Habit and all those, you know, personal development books, you will discover that, you know, a habit is going to be formed in 21 days, you know. So after 30 days, I all of a sudden had a sense of urgency. And this is when I realized after 1 year that it's been 1 year since when I resigned. I've been dreaming, okay? And 1 year has elapsed, and I haven't acted a small bit on my dreams. So I have gone through all that. Let me call it a cleansing, you know? And now all of a sudden, I have a sense of urgency. This is when I dive deep into personal growth material. And I am listening to, you know, I am on YouTube, I am reading books, just to bring light into the darkness that had been clogged in my mind. And it's that journey that got me to take the next step of, you know what? You have known about your purpose for a long time. Take the next step. It's that journey that made me go to get certified with John Maxwell and start empowering people, helping people, you know, professionals who are like me, stuck at a job they're not comfortable with, people who wanted to find fulfillment, people who are dealing with all sorts of obstacles so that they can achieve a life that they have always dreamed about. It is that journey that I've described that has brought me to this point. So quickly, I'm going to run through, you know, those pointers, you know. So number one, it is very, very key to be clear about your goals. Be very clear. There is another book that I was reading. I do not remember the title, but this gentleman was trapped in a cage with a lion. And there was a table, simple table with 4 legs. So you know what a lion, what it means with a lion. And this man, I don't know what led him to think like that. He got a table and just made it face the lion like this, okay? Trying to use my, okay, these are four antennas. So in essence, psychologically, what that did to the lion, it drew, it divided the lion's attention. Because for the people that train lions, they will tell you that one of the things that makes a lion the king of the jungle or not easily beaten, it has the power of focus. It is able to focus at its prey, and it's that focus that drives it, okay? And so the lion thought to himself, now the 4 legs of the table were an enemy. So he needed to deal with the enemy that was standing between him and its prey, or and his prey. Okay? So the lion's eyes are focused on the first leg of the table, second leg, third leg, and fourth leg. And it's juggled between which leg do I attack first? And for in a moment, that made the lion to become stuck, frozen, and not think strategically to attack the man. So the man holds the table in front of the lion. The lion can see his legs. He can't see his face, okay? So the lion is looking at ways of attacking the table as the man is slowly moving away from where the lion is to the exit, and finally he is able to exit the cage without being attacked. Now that's what happens to us when we are not clear about our dreams. And I know we have attended very many goal-setting sessions, even by this time of the year, and some of you have vision boards, and your vision board is too, you know, what is the best word? What is the best word? But as in, there are too many goals on that vision board. When you look at, you kind of feel dizzy, or you can even get the feeling overwhelmed when in your notebook, you just look at your goals. And I know some teachers have taught that, you know, you need to balance. You need to balance. Thank you, Cobell. You need to balance your life, and they tell you, you must have goals in the spiritual, must have goals professionally, you must have goals relationship-wise, you must have goals financially, you like in the 7 areas of influence in your life that you must have goals. But I'm here to debust that myth. Because the more the more diverse the goals are, the less it is going to be for you to be able to achieve and grow at the same time. And if you have heard about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, you'll discover that some goals are goals and some goals are just goals. They are goals or dreams that you are going to achieve, and they are going to make you achieve 80% of the results you want at your workplaces. Did I say achieve? There are goals you're going to focus on. There are goals you're going to set, okay? And just a few goals, 1 or 2. And at the end of the year, you will have achieved 80% of what your life wanted in 2025. But there are goals that you're going to focus on. And you'll find that by the end of 2025, the best that you can achieve is only 20% of your life. And that's why in self-leadership, we focus on setting goals that align with our values, strengths, beliefs. And that's why it's also very important to be in a profession that utilizes your strengths, your values. Now, I'm not here to discourage anyone, but I'm here to help you because I was captured. I was stuck for a long time. I would be far, but I'm glad where I am. So what Pareto is telling you, if we apply it to goals, it's telling you, take a list. You have you have 10 goals. You have a list of 10 goals. Okay? You have a list of 10 goals. Identify the top 2 goals. Give 80% of all your resources, be it time, be it money, be whatever you can mention, you can think of. Give it 80% of your resources. Focus on those, and it will give you 80% return. Okay? And so in my goal setting, I do not focus on more than 3. I had to learn the hard way. By the way, even when I had started my coaching, because you see where I'm coming from. Now I feel I have lost enough time in the maze, and I'm looking and I'm like, how many people have I disadvantaged by me being, stuck in this maze? And I all wanted to go out, okay? So I come up with this plan, this project, this initiative, this. And by March, I was a deflated balloon. Now, this is early 2020, 2021, yes. A total deflated balloon. Why? I was focusing on too much. There is no area that I could sit down and grow in and take my clients through. So you need to clearly, is it yesterday or the other day, on my LinkedIn, I posted about success. What does success mean to you? And you must be able to clearly define what success to you is. And that's when you will be able to know that now, if I focus in this lane, it's a lane of my greatest giftedness, experience, strength. And ultimately, it's going to give you the most results. And so this is going to be able to help you not to focus on what does not matter. We can have private sessions to dig deep into that. But this also informs you that the doing, dreaming to doing, is impossible if you're not self-aware. Because also the doing, the dreaming to doing has something we call habit formation. Now you need to also understand which habits support your strength. What strength do you have to develop certain habits? And I usually see it because I was doing it. I would set goals in areas of my weakness. Okay? I've seen Nelson here. He's one of my mastermind graduates. Nelson, thank you for signing in. And I shared with them how I was struggling with waking up early in the morning. And this was December or November 2024. Struggling with waking up in the morning. And I was not doing self-judgment, but as coming from a point of my wiring, my personality is getting hotter and deeper. So you need to be able, now when I set a goal, in the area of my weakness, 8 out of 10, according to research, you're going to fail it. Why? Internally, you have not grown enough to have a support system to support you achieve that goal. And you cannot rely on external motivation. It has a small percentage. You must be able to create an internal drive. And where does that come from? It's coming from your strength. It's coming from your values. It's coming from you clearly defining what success is. I have dealt so much on this. We can take this deeper privately. So in 2025, ask yourself, what are my top 3 goals? If anyone is kind enough, they could even share with us in the chat. What are my top 3 goals in 2025? So on that point, please avoid the trap to do everything. Instead, focus on what truly matters to you. Self-awareness is everything in there. Okay, let's go to step number 2. Hopefully someone can type for us their top 3 goals in 2025.
Diana, maybe just to just give a comment on self-awareness, and also from just experience, I want to say that one of the things that has helped me, especially on going after my goals, is the why factor. And I think maybe you'll mention it along the journey, but the self-awareness also helps me understand that if I do not do this thing, then I can't achieve ABCD. Like understanding myself, like this is what can change my life. I was having a discussion with one of my friends. We're in the same age. We are all in our mid 30s. And I was telling him that if you count how many years we have to our active times, like years in employment, we could have about maybe 15 to come. And this means that within these 15 years, if we do not we are not intentional about these years that we are running right now. We would either be beggars in our retirement, or we would have nothing to our names. So I was just trying to have that kind of discussion and realization, and to understand. Right now, I'm a person who has a family, and I have children, and I have aspirations. I have what I want my children, the kind of life that they will have to go through. So through self-awareness, knowing that, okay, this is not just about me, this is the kind of life I want to live. And if I do not take the bold step to take charge of either my finances, to either sign up for a life insurance policy or sign up for a unit trust investment, or just start saving with the circle, then there is no way I'm actually going to get to where I want to get to. So I think for me, the why factor in my self-awareness, once I've understood to know that, okay, I'm not that man that was born with a silver spoon, then I have to work my way out. And even understanding that, okay, I have some disadvantages, like you're talking about the weaknesses, knowing that you're going to leverage on your strengths to beat your weaknesses, to know that I do not have anyone that I know. That is self-awareness. I don't have anyone who will connect me to UN, but what is going to happen is I have to work my way to UN. And that means I have to make sure that I'm adding the right credentials that people in UN go for. I'm making sure that I'm connecting, I'm intentionally getting myself into to be visible, because that is where my strength lies. My weakness of not having a good background can no longer play. I cannot turn certain things around about me anymore, but I have to turn around myself, around my strength, understanding my why. So every day I wake up knowing that, okay, sometimes I even make when I'm making my posts online, I struggle. Sometimes I feel I do not have a post to make. But then when I think about my why, I'm like, I have to do it. I have to do it, because this is what can change me. This is what is going to bring me to rooms where I've not been. This is what is going to bring favor, because this is my A thing. This is what people say I'm good at. So if I'm not showing up at something that I'm good at, then it means that even the other things that I'm getting challenged will cover me up. So I just wanted to add a voice to that, Diana.
Excellent. Excellent, Samuel. That is huge. That is huge. Yes, clarity. Clarity comes with knowing your why. Clarity comes with knowing your why. The things that really matter to you. It will keep you motivated when you're up, even when you're down. That is the power of clarity. And you see, the process of being clear about what truly matters is going to help you assess your obstacles, plan for them, deal with them. Clarity. Thank you, Samuel. Nelson says intrinsic or internal drive is key. Yes. One of his goals is richer relationships, be intentional on having more family quality time, reach out to more meaningful relationships, connect more with young people. Thank you. 3 times my income, support a mentorship program for young people. Excellent. Okay. This is in 2025, hopefully. I see doing words in there, very realistic. Great. Creating an impact, join a career aligning with my skills, make meaningful relationships. Okay, creating an impact is still a little bit vague. Sorry to say that. But be more clear about the kind of impact you want to create. Okay. Once the goal is unclear, it creates a fog in your brain, and your brain is not able to support you. So you need to be very, very clear. Utilize doing words as you write down your goals. and ensure that it's so easy to measure. The SMART acronym, be able to measure quarter way, mid-year, 3/4, so that you're able to track them. That's the beauty of this whole SMART thing. Very specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, okay? Grow a brand as a public speaking coach. David Semakula, high five. That is very clear. That is so clear. So most probably you have discovered you have a gift. Maybe you want to create an impact. I don't know, whatever. But this is an example of a very clear goal. And I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Pursuing a course to advance my career. What course do you want to pursue? Okay. What course? This is something that I got from my mentor. The moment when you mention a goal, or even as we are typing down, and thank you for sharing, because I hope this is helping us to be more clear about our goals. The moment we mention or write down our goal, imagine that you're telling it to someone and ask yourself, will the person I am telling this goal quickly or immediately understand what I mean by, will they immediately understand what I mean by this goal? Now, if you find that the person you're telling has to ask you more questions, now go deeper into refining that goal. It's something that helped me in my goal setting. So when David tells me that I want to grow my brand as a public speaking coach, it is so clear. If I have any resources, I'll quickly help David. Okay. But if someone, remember, sorry, I'm just going to just use what you have given. Pursuing a course to advance my career. Now you have added financial management. But though I may not be, I'm not even an expert in financial management. I tried the finance area when I was doing tax assessments and whatever filing. I didn't like that area, so I ran away. So I do not have enough information. But I also know that financial management has areas. Is it personal finances? Is it family? Is it, I will again question you, Rebembera, and just take it that, or just understand that once you write it down, the person on the other side should be able to clearly understand you and minimize the further questions that they will ask. That way, once you feed it in your brain, it is able to understand that this is my assignment. Now, in the world of science, the brain does not distinguish between right and wrong. It takes on whatever you give it. Now, when you give it an unclear goal, it will also remain unclear. Don't think that just because it is in you, it's going to think like how you're thinking. And that's one of the reasons why we remain stuck. Okay? Now let's proceed. Let's proceed. So those who have not been able to write in the chat, it is okay, but I hope you have written in your notebook, because by the end of this session, one of our objectives is to help you to start off by tomorrow, which is 25th January, you should be very clear with your goals and with actionable steps to pursue your goals. That's our objective by the end of this session. So do yourself a favor and just write. Just write. It is okay not to share here. Just write in your notebook, and do not waste time attending this session and you go out with goals that are not clear. I am just trying to be as polite as possible because I really value your participation. I also value the time that you're spending here. And as TPC, we value the time that you are spending here. So let it be meaningful time. Right, thank you for that response. So we are now clear. We are clear with what truly matters to us. We are very clear with our strength. Being clear with your strength, you're also clear with the areas you need to grow in, or what people call weaknesses. Another time, I'll be able maybe to spend some more time on the strength and weaknesses. Yeah. You're clear about your obstacles. You're clear about the challenges. By the way, that clarity is so huge. Let me just go to the next point because I think our time is really running out. So step number 2 is confronting your excuses. You see, it's coming from the clarity session. If you're not clear, then you're not able to confront them. Like I mentioned, that your excuses are seducers, they're going to seduce you. They're going to seduce you from not pursuing your dreams. And you know, seduction is interesting. It's very interesting. I could go deep into seduction, but not what you're actually thinking about. I see some of your minds, what you're thinking is not what I'm talking about. But the seduction of goals, you know, when you're presented with possible or seemingly better alternative or better options, and you think maybe this can help me go faster, taking a border to chase the bus that has already gone. You know, that could be a seduction, or you know, you can try to mention it. Yeah. So confronting your excuses, confronting your fears, confronting your doubts. And maybe if you joined a little later, you could be asking me, but then how do I confront this? Because one of the greatest traps is I do not know how to do this. But if you followed from the start, I shared with you the bit of how. I know it's not detailed enough, but that is why we are here. You can always get the whole detail of these hows. So I want to challenge you in a funny way. You have identified what truly matters. You have identified your fears. You have identified your doubts. You have identified your excuses. I want to challenge you tonight to do something maybe you have never done. I want you to go and conduct a funeral service. Yes, I mean it. Go and conduct a funeral service for your excuses, for your fears, for your doubts. Be the priest, be the mourner, be the person, everything. Thank you, Cobell. Go conduct that funeral service. Or if you're interested in law, go do a divorce session. Because, you know, your dreams, what you actually want to do is outside your comfort zone. You cannot move from dreaming to doing if you're still comfortable. Not at all. You can't. You must have the reason. You must be so tired of living the same life year after year. Maybe you must be so tired of receiving the same paycheck month after month. You know, sometimes desperate situations call for desperate actions, such as divorcing those fears, divorcing those doubts. Absolutely. No growth in comfort and no comfort in growth. And do you know what? Doing, the point of doing, the point of achieving requires you to wake up and take a step and take another step. And that's uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Did I mention here that I struggle with waking up very early? Yes. But do you know what? I have had to wake up early. I have had to have less sleep. I have had to lay my bed and sleep in it, knowing that I am a mother, I am a wife, so I sleep late and not know the consequences of my sleeping late. I'll have less sleep. And what is that going to do? It is going to have an effect on my mental health. It's going to have an effect on my weight loss. Yes. Guys, there is a price to pay. So there is no comfort where growth is. Not at all. And it's a choice. That's the good news. Yes, absolutely, John. Even with a family life, there is no comfort. No comfort. I'll tell you, as a married woman and as a marriage counselor, I'll tell you, if you do not work on your marriage, if you don't work on your family, which is very uncomfortable, you will not see the life that you wanted for your family. The growth principles are universal. There's no shortcut about them. So we must confront those excuses, the fears. We must divorce them. We must kill them. We must come up with strategies to deal with our fears, to deal with our doubts and our fears. Some of them need just someone to help you see the other side, you know, of the situation, not necessarily conducting a funeral service for them or, you know, divorcing them. Okay? Start small and be consistent. By the time I logged in, I found somewhere talking about taking small steps every day. Maxwell says the secret to your success lies in your daily agenda. The secret to your success lies in your daily agenda. What are you doing today? What are you doing today that will move you towards your goals? Or that one goal, okay? Let me just go back to okay. Let me go to Rita's goals. Study a cake course and start cake business as my other source of income. I love that goal. Okay. And I am, give it to Liz. And I'm going to, okay, just a minute. So let me just elaborate a little bit using this example. You don't charge it. There. Just sorry, I'm having to balance family with this that I'm doing. Take it to this, she'll charge for you. Okay. Take it to this. Sorry, I'm now back. Study a cake course and start a cake business as my other source of income. And this is start small but stay consistent. Now, if our goal is study a cake course and start cake business as my other source of income, the real thing is you have set this goal, okay? So you have set this goal. You have said, okay, my goal is to create my bigger goal is to create an extra source of income. How am I going to do it? Okay, now you have probably assessed that maybe these are the options that I can do. Of these options that are available, which of these options utilizes my strengths, my passions? Am I really passionate about cake? What is it that would make me take a cake course? Goes back to our why. Okay, why am I, of all the options available, why would I take a cake course? Why wouldn't I do a tailoring course? Why wouldn't I probably, do a filming or social media management? Of all things, why am I doing a cake course? Okay. Maybe you're saying, I am passionate about cakes. When I attend functions, it really, really angers me finding bad cake. Whatever the reason is, let it be strong enough to support you on that journey. And let it be strong enough to know that you will do it easily. When you're tapping into your area of giftedness and strength, it comes with ease. The struggle is not like when you're working in an area of your weakness. Okay, so you have assessed all that and it's so clear before you. And now you're like, let me start small. Okay, maybe it's you're planning an annual leave. And so you're like, I'm planning an annual leave in July or August. I'm having my 60 days off, or I'm having my 40 days of whatever number of days, and I have identified that of the things that I can do is cake business. So I am going to take a cake course. Now, before July or before August, let's take August. Before August, you have all these months, right, before you. It's not that you're going to keep quiet. It's not that you're going to be totally silent about your cake course. Ask yourself, what can I do today and now that is going to take me towards achieving my dream in August when I have leave of taking a cake course? Maybe this is the time when you're going to look around. What are the cake schools available? Now there's this. Okay. What connects me to this school? If you're a person who stands really by your values, which I want to encourage you to do, is do I align with the values of this school? Or I would be ashamed to associate myself that I studied, that I'm a graduate of that school. These things happen. When we are much younger, we don't think about them. But when we are a little older, we start thinking about them. Okay. So probably find that this is the time when you can do all that research. Maybe you can go and visit, make an order of a small cake or a cupcake, whatever it is. Go check out, interact with a graduate. And I am just giving you the reality of the small steps that you can do daily towards achieving this goal. And maybe you have some little time. And when we are looking at time, I'm not meaning an hour. Go to YouTube and look for the cake channels where they teach the DIYs, and be conversant with this language so that since you have limited time of 30 days for leave, within 2 weeks, you learn so fast and everything, you become smart, you excel at what you're doing. That's what we stand for at Bloom, okay? It is a strategy. It's not just about what you believe in. It's not just about hoping. Hoping has never been a strategy. So you must be clear about the simple small steps that you can talk about. Maybe you need to think about, start talking to family about, I have this dream. Sometimes, by the way, we have a goal and it's not goal enough. Once you start, the execution, all of a sudden, the bulb goes off and you're like, I am no longer interested in it. And then we leave it because you never took the time to prepare. You never took the time to gather enough information about this goal, this desire of yours. You never took enough time to dig deep and really find out the resolve, how much you want this goal. Right. Rita, hopefully that will help you. Careful assessment of investment decisions for employees and management of time responsibly. This is another good goal. Okay. Probably Samuel, I think next year to improve the TPC, we could have a goal setting session from my observation, so that we are very clear with our goals before we get into the sessions of execution. I might easily forget, but I know for you won't forget. So point noted there. Please elaborate on the resilience factor. Okay, the resilience factor comes from the strong why. What is making you stay committed to this goal? When you meet the ups and the downs, what will keep you glued there? Even when people around you, the people you thought were your friends, tell you know what, Diana, this one you cannot do. And let me tell you, by the way, as a coach, a leadership coach, moreover, who has a background of teaching, I have had lots and lots of naysayers, even from my family. I said, how will you get into the market? Where are you going to get customers from? But let me tell you, I was so clear on my purpose. It's not that, the journey that I started with is a journey of as early as 2015. 2015 is what we are talking about. That is making you speak to you this evening. So I have had trial, error, tried this and the other, failed, picked up myself, and assessed that, no, this is what truly gives me fulfillment. I have tested it when I'm not paid. I've tested it when I am paid. And without a doubt, I know this is what I am cut for. Now, that is what builds the resilience in me. The times when I have no coaching clients, when I have no people signing out for my courses, when I'm not being called anywhere to speak, I am still committed on the journey. Why? It is just in my blood. That's what creates resilience. It's coming from a point of self-assessment, of knowing I am strong here, okay? I told you about finances. In my career transition, when I wanted to come from teaching, because I loved business, I said, you know what? I think the accountants, the people in tax, can make more money than here, the teachers of chalk and blackboard. So I used money. I paid for a course. Gone through what I was telling you. I paid for a course, tax and revenue admin at East African School of Taxation, and I went into the field. Before I knew it, I wasn't happy because I'm not a person of routine. I don't like sitting behind the computer from 8 to 9. I love the numbers. I teach math. I'm teaching physics. But then the numbers in accountants were not my thing. And I jumped out. But you don't have to jump out. You don't have to jump out for you. Because you have the Dianas who have made the mistakes and they are here. Hopefully you can learn from them. So for me, when someone is telling me that, Diana, what you're doing is not yours, I just look at them and smile. Because guess what? My journey is a testament. I have been tried and tested. I have had moments when I'm woken up from sleep and I know the easiest thing that comes to me, okay? And I'll do it whether I have read a book or not read a book. So that's where resilience is coming from. It's not something that you're going to go in class and study. It is deep. Kobe, hopefully that helps. So as on step number 2, I see our time has really gone, but we started with clarity. We are now on, we are on step number 3. We started with clarity. Next was confronting our fears, our excuses and doubts. And 3 was about starting small and being consistent. Identifying small steps, very small, that can take us towards our dream. And number 4 is leveraging resources and relationships. But before we go to number 4, I just have a small question for you. You've heard about this whole thing of taking small steps, okay? And being consistent. Now, my question to you is, and those that have been sharing their goals in the chat, I hope you can also write down the answer for me in the chat room, okay? What is that one small step that right now you think is small, and small, I mean small, very small, very minute. What is that one small step you think you can take today? For some, it can be today or when you wake up, because I know some of you sleep as early as 9. What is that one small step that you can take today or now to move you towards that big dream? Please put that step in the chat or write it down, those who are not writing down. What is that one small step that you can take today or beginning now that is going to move you towards your cake course, towards financial management, which was still broad, okay? I see another good goal here, growing my social media circle and personal brand with people that align with my profession and interests. Now this one has started with by joining TPC. That's a step you have already taken. What step do you think you can still take today towards growing your social circle and personal brand? They don't have to be weekly steps. The secret lies in your daily agenda. Make inquiries where need be. This is broad. It's not a small step. It's not a small step, Patricia. It's not very clear. Your brain is like, where need be? Where? What if I don't see the where? Okay, let me see. Signing up for the next growth masterclass and reading to completion. Today matters. Okay. Okay. Nelson, those are too many steps. Those are too many steps. You're going to be bogged down by too many steps. We are looking at a small step you can take up for today. Just today. Are you going to complete Today Matters today? Now, let me just help you here, my friend. Reading to completion Today Matters. A small step could be, I have reached chapter 2. And a small step could be as simple as reading 1 page. Just 1 page. You know, when we were growing up, we had this proverb of 1 by 1 makes a bundle, or 1 small step led the snail to the ocean. It's that simple. You commit to it, set time apart, and say every day, I have my book of Today Matters. I am going to commit 5 minutes daily, maybe at my lunch break, and I'll just read a page or 2 pages. And that's it. Small steps. Let me tell you, before you know it, by the end of the week, you have read a full chapter, and it comes easily, and it ends up becoming a routine, a habit. And that's how you conquer. Small steps. Let me see someone else here. Sending 1 job application in a day. A geo now, that's a great one. Okay? That's a great one. A small step. Writing down what I will share on my social media and following people in the counseling profession and learning from their posts. Okay? That's also overwhelming. That's more or less like a strategy, Joyce. It's a very good strategy, but could you zero it down to a simple step? Okay. Watching a YouTube video on how to manage financial models. Now, that's a great step. It's not overwhelming. I know maybe you people, for me, maybe I am a more emotional individual, but also psychologically, this has been proven. You know, when you present yourself with many options, you end up getting overwhelmed and not achieving as much. Reading every day, at least 1 page, every single day. Record and post videos at least thrice a week. Okay? That's it. It ends with a strategy and starts with a step. David, I think that's okay. Right? So thank you for your participation. I love it. I love it. I love interacting with people. Fred, applying for an international job every day. This is excellent. And you see, that is going to drive you. You know, you are interested in getting an international job. That's the big goal. And do you see, when we're talking about the 80-20 principle, maybe you want to increase your income, okay? But you see, increasing your income is not the major goal. Or maybe it's the major goal, and you've defined how I need to target an international job. Why? Maybe one of the aspirations or dreams is to work with the international people. I hope you get it. And now the strategy here is I need to now start applying for international jobs. How? And I need to find out sites. I need to find out people, grow a network of people who work with maybe UN, UNICEF, blah, blah, blah. And every day I'm going to go to those sites, look out for jobs, and apply for at least one job. It is moving you towards your big goal. So it's more or less like you have a big goal, but you reverse engineer and start taking small steps. Absolutely. It's not about the big steps. It's about the small steps so that you don't get overwhelmed. Friends, we have a lot. For me, I have too much on my plate. So if I am to take, and which is the same for you, you can't run away from it because we are human beings. There's so much that we have to handle. Yeah? Right. Let's proceed. So step number 4 was about leveraging resources, and I'll be so quick on this because we've been hinting about it, leveraging resources and relationships. Now, please proceed, continue writing in the chat, who is excelling in what you hope to achieve. But let's get back to the goal. Let me go back to it. I think it was Rita's goal. Who is excelling in cake business that you can learn from? Okay. Please be able to apply it in your different goals, like all of you were writing. Okay, I saw relationships, I saw marriage, I saw finances, I saw branding. So who is that person? Because now we are looking at leveraging relationships in your circles, maybe in the circles of your circles. Who is excelling? Or it could not even be in your circles, but can you find out that 1, 2, 3 people that are excelling in your dream that you can learn from? Thank you, Rita. Chef Michael, great. I see you've been doing some good work, Rita. Okay. So that's a relationship. Now you can plan to leverage. Now, and this is what is happening right now. I even don't know how I got to connect with someone, but we just connected. Maybe because we're all passionate about empowering people to have meaningful careers. We are passionate about personal leadership. And so we kept, connecting with, each other's posts. Someone's posts would, would minister, or they would resonate with me. And I believe the same. I remember the first time you hosted me, I was like, Diana, the world needs to hear your message. And guess what? We are leveraging this relationship, this connection to add value to a group of professionals. I see Pastor Gary Skinner, Apostle Moses Mukisa, family and relationships with young people. So those are the people that will help you. That's great. Now, it could be a relationship, a casual relationship, a friend. It can, grow into a mentor. It can grow into a coach. It can grow into an author. You may never meet this person, but you realize that this person has great material on financial management. I need to listen to their podcasts. I need to maybe their YouTube channels. I need to buy their books, and they help you grow in that way. You learn from their stories. Resources. What resources are before you? What resources do you have that you can use to take you towards your goal? What resources do you have? I'm waiting for people to comment in the chat. And you know, whenever we talk about resources, people quickly go to finances. It's part of the resources, but it's not everything. And part of the simplest resources, I tell you, is your strength. Your strength. One of your greatest resources can be your attitude. I see people checking outside. It starts from within, and then it multiplies on the outside. That is what self-leadership is about. If we are to achieve, it starts from within. If you're asking for resources, start with what you have. Don't look at the wallet. That's an external resource. It can be as simple as time. It can be as simple as your ability to comprehend. When I'm teaching about personality, some people have greater abilities when it comes to detailing, when it comes to analysis, much more than the others. It's a resource that you may be having and you have no idea. You get that? One of the resources that I discovered that I had was my ability to mingle with anyone at any point. I'll go to an audience and you'll find me mixing up, making fun with anyone. Anyone. I remember there's a time last year I went to train and the HR delayed, they were caught up, and they said, just go and find them. We'll not introduce you, but there's someone we've told you just. By the time they found me, and this is not to blow my trumpet, but it's a resource that I know about me. They're like, D, come on. Do you know any of these guys? Do you have an OB? And I'm like, no, I'm meeting them for the first time. Like, how do you get to do this? I'm like, because I am me. And it takes me to what I always read from the book of knowledge, that each one of you was created with an ability to execute whatever it is you were created for. It was given from birth, and you have it. You just need to take a deeper look inside you and know that somewhere I have this ability. I know that as Emmanuel, I have this resource. Now, it is on those resources that we build on to get external resources. So can you name them? Can you name those resources? Let's begin with the internal resources. Maybe you can share one internal and an external resource. Hopefully I can see about 5. And then I proceed. This is my second last. What resources do you have? Good attitude, discipline, ability to mingle with anyone, energy, resilience, emotional intelligence, money, people. Excellent. Thank you, Nelson. Ability to analyze issues with that's a great detail. And that, you know what, Rita, that helps you do is that you are able, now those internal resources are the things that help you create an edge in the marketplace. Now, for example, your ability to analyze issues with every detail is a strength you need in creativity. So if I just did an assessment with you, if I spent some little time around you, I wouldn't be shocked if I found that you're very creative. Now that means you have the ability to create standout cakes, not just average cakes. A good attitude. A good attitude is one of those simple things that will help you to move on, that will help you to have a whole positive perspective, even when you're going through challenges. And that will be able to help you on your resilience. So I wouldn't be shocked to discover that Nelson is a resilient person, a patient person. Okay? And Fred has summarized this so well. You're looking at skills, you're looking at experience, you're looking at passion. Those are all internal resources. So the question to you was, what resources do you have at your disposal that are going to help you achieve your dream? Now, when we move from internal resources, let's look around. What resources do you have? Some of you have internet at the workplace, which you can use. Okay? Maybe you can be able to even go. You can even be able to leave work early. Or you have personal development plans at the workplace where they can plan, pay for you. Okay? What resources are at your disposal? Did you hear what Samuel shared with us? That he just asked. He already sensed that that job interview was just a by the way to tick off, but they had already gotten someone. And so he positioned himself. That was a resource. And that's how he got the auditor job. You get that? That is what is going to help. Acknowledging what you have at your disposal. Trust me, there is always so much that we have. But our focus is on our fears, the doubts, and the excuses. And that always blurs the resources we have. And because of that, we can't take a step. There are accountability groups like the TPC. When I met with someone who talked so much, but I think I must have shared with him that I wish some of these things that we have right now, I wish I was able to discover 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm approaching 40. Trust me, there are things I cannot outdo now. But when I was 20, if I discovered a session like this, I would pay everything to be in such a session and work on myself. There are mistakes I would have never done. So things like TPC, coaching groups. I have coaching groups, coaching programs. And unfortunately, most of us never want to invest in ourselves. And for me, that's a clear sign that one, you don't know who you are, but you don't value yourself enough to invest in yourself. It's okay. No, but it's okay. Be with it. It's mine. You can invest in others, you can invest in a meal, but you cannot invest in a program that can potentially give you 3 times your salary in the next 5 years. I'm being a little harsh, yeah. You can wake up an hour earlier to watch a movie, but you cannot wake up an hour earlier to read a book or be in a session that can change your mindset. How much do you value yourself? Do you have such a desire to achieve your goals that you can do whatever it takes you to achieve them? I wish I could say a yes or no, because it has to be a yes or no. And if the desire is a yes, then you do a sacrifice. Thank you, Kelvin. Do not be deceived by the get-rich-quick scheme in goals. When it comes to doing and achieving our goals, it is work. It is sacrifice. You must pay a price, my friends. You must pay a price. And you also must assess, how ready are you to pay the price? Are you willing to pay the price? Can you clearly say this is the post implication, emotionally, physically, financially, socially? When I was going to go for my certification, I sold the only inheritance I had gotten from my parents. Who does that? I sold it. And it was not even 50% of what we paid at the Maxwell team. But for me, it is one of those painful prices, but rewarding prices that I had to pay. Our classes are online at night due to time difference. So it means I had to forego my sleep. Guys, I love to sleep. I had to forego my sleep. I had to work around myself. If you think you're going to achieve that dream without paying a price, sad news for you. But the fact that you are here, I doubt that's a mindset you have. I highly doubt. Focus on progress and not perfection is our next step. Focus on progress and not perfection. And the progress has habits. The progress has systems. Perfection focuses on the outcome. We all make mistakes. This is an imperfect world. Learn how to deal with failure. In fact, make failure your friend. Make failure your friend. I'm not saying it's okay to, when you fail, okay, Coach Diana said it is okay to fail. No. Have a positive look in the eyes of failure. When you have failed, turn that as an engine for your success. We can talk about failure in another session. Build habits that align with your dreams, even if they feel small. I talked about habits, and so I'm going to really go so fast. And second last is celebrate progress. Okay, celebrate progress. I love to celebrate people. I love to celebrate my progress. Okay, celebrate progress. Celebrate every win. At the end of the day, take stock and say, what did I do today that made me take one step, or half a step, even quarter step, is better than staying stagnant, okay? So ask yourself, what did I do today that made me move closer to my dream? And when you are able to clear, that's the importance of clarity. When you're able to write it down, when you're able to mention it, that you know, today I made a new friend, I made a new connection on LinkedIn, on social media, or in the several groups. I got to know one more thing about Coach Samuel, and I've always wanted to be around this guy. Celebrate it and be grateful. That thank yourself. Thank yourself. Don't wait for any person to thank you. Say, Diana, congratulations. Thank you. And because you've been working on your weight, I am going to reward you. And go and buy yourself a smoothie at CJ's. Thank yourself. Celebrate progress. In fact, at this point, I want you to clap for yourself in the chat. And if you can, put reactions, please put that reaction. Clap for yourself for investing in yourself this time. It's a Friday. Go ahead and thank yourself. If you can, say it loudly and say, Remigio, thank you for investing in your time, in yourself this time. You could be out clubbing, you could be out whatever, God knows, whatever you could be doing. Yes, thank you, Aisha, for thanking yourself. I see Samuel, I see Remigio. Please thank yourself. This is a great time. And these things, it sounds crazy, but these things work. They work. You have not dealt with an ungrateful person. You don't want to be around them next time. You don't want to be around them next time. And when you begin slowly like that, even in the face of a mistake, you're going to be able to say, Diana, you made that bad mistake, but thank you for holding your emotions together. You did not shame me, girl. I am proud of you. That's how we come out. That's how we make progress. Sometimes you need to do crazy stuff to make you achieve what no one has heard of, what no ear has, what no one has thought about. So thank you, each one of you, for investing in yourselves this time. It's appreciating yourself, celebrating progress is going to keep you motivated and with a positive outlook. And I hope you have written down your top 3 goals right now. You have written out your obstacles. You have written out that one-step action you can take today. And with that, with the little that I have shared, taken some time here, about 3 hours now. With that, I am so confident that your story by 2025 is going to be different. And I'll leave with you a question. What do you want your 2025 to look like? Over to you, Coach Samuel. Thank you, my brothers and sisters, for being very active, for participating. Thank you for thinking. Thank you for writing. Thank you for going through the journey with me. It's been a journey of dreaming. And hopefully, by close of day, we have taken some actions. I celebrate you and may God bless you.
Wow, I celebrate you, Diana, for this wonderful presentation. And I like the statement you made that you're still teaching. You just change the subjects. So I could see your passion in your subjects, other than the physics and mathematics. So thank you so much. And thank you so much to our audience. We've had a great audience, very participative. Thanks so much, our YouTube audience as well. I know that Stephen, Samuel Yangu, and Keith, all these people came through to Phoebe, I think Phoebe Karugawa, Lawrence B, quite a number of people that were joining through the session on YouTube. We really appreciate. Then there are some questions that are coming through. There's a question on YouTube, so you just allow me just read this question. Maybe you can be able to answer it. It's from Samuel Yangu, who says, says, how do you balance between having enough time to sleep versus foregoing your sleep to stay awake late and early morning reading sessions? So, yeah, I don't know if you're able to get the question, but that's a question that came through. But also the comments that are coming through as well are really great. And it reminds me of the interaction we had when we were trying to plan this session. This is a session that is supposed to be part of the personal leadership, which is for our principal members, those that are paid up. I and Diana agreed that we make this session free so that everyone can be able to join in. And why? Because we value in helping other people, and we know that some people may not be able to join us at this time, but we don't want to leave you behind. And you could see Diana trying to get everything into the piece that you can be able to get it. But I know that there is even more in stock, even as we get into more sessions that Diana will be doing, especially for the principal members. So we encourage you to join on the other side of the wall so that you're able to encourage each other. And I think for me, even as I look at this, then I get to remind myself of that time when it was tough for me to take the decision to say TPC needs to get alive. So, and when I see that kind of transformation, as people were thanking themselves for just showing up here, I'm also just here thanking myself for making this dream come true of gathering people that experience like Diana, who have what to share, and also gathering people who are hungry in the room to be able to learn. I think for me, I see all these things getting better and better every day. And I know that we may not be perfect, but like Diana said, small steps at a time. Get started. I think that's the most important thing. Some things you're going to figure them along the journey, but just get started. Get started, and you'll find yourself, you'll be surprised the kind of progress you're going to make. The most sad point of your life is seeing other people progressing to the same things that you should have been doing, but you cannot do them again. Like we said, we're not growing any younger. Every day we are growing older. And there are certain things that you really thought you would do, but you can't do them any longer because you are past that. There are even opportunities. I usually say that the opportunities that even put a cap on the age and say, if you're not 30 and below, you can't apply. And you look at them and you can't apply. So there is no time, and there is no right time to start like right now. And I know that usually when you think about limitations, doubts, all that will show up. You always think about it and say, I can't do this. There are always reasons why you can't do something, but it's you just getting over them and saying, I need to just bring down that force of telling me I can't do it, and just do it, just do it, just do it. And along the way, you'll find people that will support you. When I started the TPC, I knew I needed people to support me. And that's when I reached out to Diana and said, I need Diana to come and through and be able to share some of the things you're thinking about. You're limiting yourself because you think you can do everything alone. If I was making these sessions weekly, I would tell you I would break. Last weekend, while I was away, we had the session running. We had the speaker, we had the moderator, and everything was running. So sometimes you're looking at yourself from just your individual capacity, but there's more that you can actually do even with other people. And that's why what the TTPC community even provides you, because you're part of other people who are on the same journey of growth, and you're basically you're being held accountable, but you have a system, a supportive system that is able to think and help you where you need help. So thank you so much, Diana, for pouring yourself out. And I know that we'll be able to get in depth because this personal leadership is a deep topic, and it's the most important topic because where there is no direction, not even growth is important. Direction. As long as you're in the right path, even if you're making just 2 steps every day, believe me, you're on the right track. Somebody might jump and do the 10 steps, whatever, but if they are on the wrong journey, if you're driving, whatever speed you're driving at, but you're driving in the wrong journey, nothing works out. Like you're totally on the wrong journey. You'll get overwhelmed, you get in there, but clarity is important. And I'll tell you, when you get into your clarity, everything else just works out. Everything just really works out. And that is why even when you think about what can I do next? Is this what I should be doing? Sometimes it's just about talking to someone. As part of the TPC membership, as a member, you have access to 2 sessions with a mentor, with a coach, to just speak and say, I want to talk to Coach Diana. We've gone through this session. I want to talk to her. You're able to have that moment where you're able to clear your doubts. So that is something for me that I'm really grateful that we have this opportunity to be able to learn from each other. So I'll just allow you, Diana, to just answer those questions, and maybe also just any kind of remarks. I see on Zoom, all is just appreciating, which means everything has come through. And for our YouTube community, that was the question that came through from Samuel Yangu. So you could just comment on it, and we get closing.
Okay, thank you, Samuel Yangu, for your question. I love students who ask, who is a teacher, and it takes me back to the cost, calculating the cost. We do not take risks without calculating the cost. So for me, as a young mother, as a wife, as a sibling, you know, as I had to calculate the cost of this, of the next step that I was taking, or of my dream. And I knew that even when I loved sleep, that was part of the price that I was going to pay. And I know in the wellness area that we've been told, and in fact, Nelson was educating me last year about sleeping for 8 hours. Whereas I appreciate that, I know I cannot achieve different results when I am doing the same thing. And so for me, I knew that if I must achieve this dream, it's going to have to be, maybe I'm going to sleep for 4 or 5 hours. And once in a while, when I have a gap due to the flexibility of my work, I can take a nap maybe 1 or 2 hours during the day when I am not that engaged. And that's how I balance it. But I knew that I just had to sacrifice some sleep. For people who have, when you read biographies, listen to successful people, they've told you, they will tell you, or you will learn that there is a time in their life when they would be awake all night, because what you are growing is so huge that you cannot keep with the same habits. And so, but I also had to to be very clear with what I'm going for with my spouse, especially. And so we came up with a plan. How do I support you on this journey that you're going on to? And that plan, if you're interested in that plan, we can talk privately. I'll not put it out here. But you need to create a balance. There are people who are core in your life, and they need to be part of it. They need to be part of it. My children are also aware. You could also see that even right now I'm doing this session from home. You could see that the distractions, but the older ones know that they need to take away this young one and keep them busy. So to create that balance, you need to develop a support system. I know where you asked about sleep, and for me, I needed to create a support system. Even during the day when mommy has taken a nap, I have taken a nap, and they know it. Yeah. But as much as possible, I also try to support the fact that I may not sleep enough sometimes. I take off intentional rests, big chunks of rest. I eat well, I eat healthy, I take lots and lots of water. I am still weak on exercising so that, I try to support my sleep deficiency. I hope that answers you. That's really what I do.
All right. Thank you so much, Diana, for that response. And thank you so much. And I think, like you said, everything's about sacrifice, finding what can work for you. Sometimes it may not be a copy and paste because the circumstances may be really different. But yeah, you find what you think can work for you. Sometimes for me, I know I struggle to wake up in the morning. So what I do is I do late night. So you will see me active maybe at 1, at 2, but I know that I'll get everything done and then take a rest. And then in the morning I can be able to wake up and yeah. So find what works for you. At the end of the day, we are saying that do something. Just start from where you are. Just take that action and say, okay, this is what I need to be doing. Because at the end of the day, if we do not do anything, we will find ourselves ending the year again without anything. So thank you so much, Diana. And thanks so much to our audience. Much appreciated. This session is on our YouTube channel, so you can be able to catch the recording. And if you feel there's somebody who should benefit from this information, somebody is in your network, somebody whom you think would benefit from the TPC sessions, please make sure that you you give them the links, give them the numbers, and let them know that, okay, there is a platform that could help them to be able to grow and become better. Because we don't want, the same way I and Diana have showed up here, we don't want to just know some of these things alone. We want to make sure that many other people are actually benefiting, are actually growing, because we cannot just grow alone. So it could be a sibling, it could be a wife whom you feel needs to be aligned just as you. If it could be a workmate whom you see struggling that you think could benefit from such a kind of these sessions. And I know they all come out of sacrifice. I'll tell you that if Diana had to choose not to be here, she has a lot on her plate. Even myself, actually, all day I've been a bit weak. Actually is trying to rest here and there. I even thought I could not come through the session, but somehow I'm showing up here because I know that if I don't do this, my life wouldn't get where I want it to get to. So there is a lot of sacrifice behind. And sometimes when we show up here, it doesn't mean that we don't have what to do. We have a lot to do. But we have chose a life of purpose, a life to impact, and a life to help other people to be able to grow. So very important for you to just have that in mind, that whatever is going to set you ahead is going to require sacrifice and is going to be able to show up. So we are at the top of the hour. So thank you so much. On my screen, I just shared with us the Transformation Professionals Club membership on what you should be able to expect. So we connect because we are quite a number of people. So connection comes as very key. Learning. We believe that the best way for us to get ahead is through learning. And above everything, we don't just want to learn, we want to be able to grow. And when we grow, we want to earn, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense for you to say you've grown, you learned as much, but you're struggling financially. So these are some of our core aspects that we work with as TPC. So, and those are the contacts, just in case you want to reach out, make sure that you reach out, and please share with some of your friends, so that they're a bit, they can also be able to be part of this. Somebody will thank you because you helped them to get to know about this. So thank you so much, Diana, and wish you all the best as you are on this journey. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Coach Samuel. Thank you, Coach Diana.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Nelson, for coming through. Good meeting you. Bye.